Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Whilst you're waiting for us to get ourselves organised, in the chat, would you mind putting your names and what you teach and what you're hoping to learn from tonight's presentation, or any of the above, really?
That's what you're talking about there. Good?
Voila.
Yeah,
Boom, right on time. Welcome, everyone. So nice to see so many friendly faces and some new faces. I think people will kind of trickle in as we get started here, but for respect of all our attendees' time and respect particularly for Joanna, who's in the UK. It just hit midnight there. She is going above and beyond and presenting with us here, East Coast convenient hours. As you see on the screen here in the chat, drop your name, what you teach, and what you're hoping to learn from tonight's presentation. We have some miscellaneous, not miscellaneous, but extremely relevant and applicable information for you. But we have what we find important to share, and we would love to hear from you what you would like to know. So thank you all again so much for being here. My name is Jay. I'm the Director of Support and Training at MusicFirst. I'm the one sending those emails. So you've heard my voice just a wee bit. I am here just to kind of facilitate, get things rocking and rolling, and hopefully help with any problems with Teams. I haven't been so super helpful thus far, but hopefully we are up and off and running. Joanna, Mary, Amy, I'm going to let you three introduce yourself. You know yourselves much better than I know you, so I'll leave it to you to speak for yourselves. But I'm here representing MusicFirst. My colleague Rachel is in the chat as well, here representing MusicFirst. And without further ado, thank you again and welcome everyone who is jumping in. Drop your name, what you teach, and what you're hoping to learn in the meeting chat. And let's go ahead and get started.
Well, I was about to say good evening, everyone. Well, it is very late for me. I am in the north of England, and it is 2 minutes past midnight. So I am now in Friday, not Thursday. But it's really lovely to see some of you and hopefully hear some of you and that you've attended. So very grateful for that. So my name's Joanna Mangona. I've got my colleague, Mary Berkner, and my other colleague, Amy Burns. I'll tell you a bit about me, and then they can introduce themselves. I live in the UK, and I work for a company called Churanga Music, and we have partnered with MusicFirst. Thank you, Jenny. We've partnered with MusicFirst to create this new and exciting curriculum. Now, Churanga is a company that's been running for about 25 years in the UK, and my job there is their head of learning. So I write all their curriculum resources and all their music. And we have a curriculum that's been out in the UK for about 10 years. And it's been very successful, and it's in probably 80%, nearly 80% of the schools. Now, I know the UK is a lot smaller, but that's still nearly 9,000 schools. And we are in a number of other countries as well. But now we've got this new curriculum that we're introducing to you tonight. So I'm here to give a bit of background because I designed it. And then Mary's here. She's been our amazing curriculum advisor, a US curriculum advisor, because this curriculum was designed for the US. But of course, we needed to do it with curriculum advisors. So I'll just hand you over to Mary. She can introduce herself.
Thank you, Joanna. Yes, it's very nice to be here. I'm in Gainesville, Florida. I've been here about 14 years, and I've taught at the University of Florida. But prior to that, I taught elementary music, I taught middle school choir, I taught preschool music, and then here at UF, one of the courses I have taught is instructional design. And so with that background, I have been able to assist with alignments for national standards and some other lesson planning sort of issues. So very nice to be here. I look forward to talking more about MusicFirst Elementary, and I'll pass it over to Amy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amy Burns. I am a preschool through grade 4 general music, grade 5 instrument class, grades 4 through 8th grade bands, and I also teach private lessons, beginner piano, along with woodwinds. I have taught in my school for 27 years, and I've been music teacher for 28, so I love where I work. I'm in New Jersey, and I work for a private school, and they just really value the arts, so I stay there as long as they'll keep me. I'm excited to let you know all about MusicFirst Elementary. I've been using it this past year. I am certified in ORF. I'm certified in Kodai, Fire Robin, along with some of like Google certifications and other like Book Creator and other Seesaw, other tech companies. So looking forward to tonight and looking forward to your questions. So I hope you will interact and ask questions of us, because we really can give you so much information about this.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Mary. Working with these two wonderful women has just been fabulous. I've learned so much, and we work so well as a team. Now, I think some of you have probably trialed MusicFirst Elementary. And Amy, if you can just go on to the next slide, that'd be great. So something is up with Teams and me, so Amy's controlling. Now, I'm not going to read slides out, you can read. And I thought if we've got some quite detailed slides afterwards, you can have the recording and go back to them, or we can always send you the PowerPoint if you would like. So you'll have seen that it's a K-5 sequential curriculum. It's fully aligned with the National Core Art Standards. There is the full curriculum. There is a lot of other stuff as well, which we will take you through. It's a flexible curriculum. It's customizable. There's so much there for us. Now, I wanted to just give you a bit of background as to why I designed it like I did initially. So I was a teacher for a long, long time here in the UK. And I was mainly I was in the classroom, but I was mainly an instrumental teacher. So about 15 or maybe more. My daughter's 28, and so she was 8. 20 years ago. Goodness me, what's happened to the time? We were told by our government, in their infinite wisdom, that every child in 3rd grade should learn a musical instrument, a band instrument. Now, they don't mean the band method that you guys do there. They mean everyone should learn an instrument, and it could be mixed instruments, it could be anything, and we are to go in and teach them, right? So I got given a bunch of 8-year-olds, and they all learnt clarinet and saxophone all together, all at once with them, and there was no resources. And they all got given these instruments for free. So that's when I started writing music for kids. I was like, okay, so what happens here then? We've got a bunch of kids all at different levels. And this is their curriculum music lesson as well, because we don't have specialist music teachers in our classrooms. Yeah, they're general teachers in our elementary schools. And I was like, okay, so what do I do now? So I wrote loads of songs, because the kids were very small, and to blow a clarinet for an hour is just going to kill them. And they break the reeds every second. And, you can imagine the dramas that went on. So I thought, right, if I write some songs, we can sing, we can do all of that song-based learning, and we can squeeze every single piece of musical learning from that song and play bits of it on our instruments. We can compose using the song, we can improvise using the song, but those songs need to be in the right key for singing, for instrumental playing, for all those things, right? So that's how this came about. All right. So Amy, if you could go to the next slide, then I can give you a bit of a background to the curriculum design. Okay, so the whole point is that music is fundamental to our humanity and our civilization. That is the whole point for me. And through learning music in the classroom, over years of learning and embedding the different musical concepts and making our own musical decisions, connecting with different styles of music from different cultures, looking at how the historical elements of music and how it all connects together, having a really authentic musical experience. I wanted kids to experience all of this, right, through the curriculum. Now, what I believe in is a spiral curriculum, and this is how this has been designed. So, as you probably all know, a spiral curriculum is progressive. You revisit the elements, the concepts of music. You revisit the knowledge and skills over time in different contexts. And when you revisit them, you go into greater depth of them, yeah. Now, this is why this is a song-based curriculum. So song-based learning was really an important part of my design, as I said before. the song-based learning, and it needs to be an authentic musical experience with authentic songs. Yeah, they need to be the right key for kids, but we don't want to dumb anything down. We want really high quality music. And all of that musical experience should be integral to their learning. It should be fun, it should be modern, it should be inclusive, it should be flexible. So you, as more experienced teachers, might pick and choose what you want, or you can customize it, etc. So it's all about song-based learning. So as you'll see later on, in each lesson, all the musical learning is based on a song. Like I said, I used to do when I was teaching, squeeze everything out of that song so that kids, children, young people really get to know that piece of music. They listen and respond to that piece of music. They contextualize it historically, culturally. Yeah, they learn to sing it. Then they might play instruments, improvise, compose, maybe one or the other or both, and ultimately perform it, because music's all about performing, isn't it, and playing together and being together. Now, instrumentally, it doesn't have to be, it could be glockenspiels, it could be recorders, it can be boomwhackers, it can be untuned percussion. But in this country, when we first started, as I said, we were having to bring all these band instruments in with no band method. So that's what we did. We've written instrumental parts that are not from a band method, but they're for kids that might play an instrument. They might play a clarinet or a trumpet. And Amy will tell you her experiences with that later. You can bring that into the classroom and have a classroom ensemble. So in your performance, as Amy's done in the past week, it's beautiful. It made me cry. It was so beautiful. You sing, you play, you sing again. You know, there's structure. And I think children like a structure, teachers like a structure to work within. So our spiral curriculum design is in the heart of all of this. The song-based learning is at the heart of all of this. And the song-based approach. I think that's probably about it. Now, within this spiral design, there's loads and loads and loads going on. So there's the kind of the musical progression, which is differentiated. So we're learning notes in the order that we're learning them in, but there are differentiated parts for those that maybe don't learn them as quickly as others, and then we revisit. We're revisiting all the time. So part of this spiral design is the fact that we have a musical spotlight for each unit of work. So within the curriculum, we've got 6 units of work per grade level with 6 songs in there, with some assessment at the end of each unit of work. And each unit of work has a musical spotlight, which is based around something to do with musical elements and concepts, like beat, pitch, rhythm, etc. And we revisit those in greater depth over time. The same with social themes. So this curriculum, as we were talking about earlier, it's about connecting to the world. It's a modern curriculum. It's an inclusive curriculum. We're looking at the historical context of the music that we're learning, the cultural context of the music that we're learning, and the authenticity of it. And we bring in these social themes that you can see here with each unit of work. And again, they deepen over the course of the curriculum if you're following it through. You see, because this is a spiral designed curriculum, you can drop in at any point and you know you'll cover the elements you need to cover. Okay, so I'm going to pass over to Mary, so that she can give you a bit of, well, let me just tell you a couple of things about Mary. Number 1, she's brilliant. And number 2, she's very clever. And I love her. She's fabulous. And we work really well together. She, as I do you, Amy, obviously, she has made this so, like, unbelievably brilliant, because obviously the standards, what do I say about the standards? Well, Mary's made sure everything aligns, and she's translated everything. She's a treasure. So over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Joanna. Most of you are probably familiar with our national standards, which are quite complicated at every grade level. And so part of my job was making sure that every unit of work in every grade level aligns with each of those standards. And so one of the design elements you'll see is that all lesson activities are focused on the 4 artistic processes around which the national standards are centered. So in every unit of work, Students will create music, they'll perform music, they'll respond to music, and they'll connect with music. So they're improvising, they're composing, they're singing, they're playing instruments, every unit, every grade, all the time. So it's a very active, engaging sort of curriculum. Part of my job was also to create lesson plans that had very clear learning objectives for every song, for every activity. And that involved what will students understand, what will they come away with, and what will they be able to do skill-wise. And so you'll see in each lesson plan very clear objectives that are then linked with very clear assessment that goes back and assesses for the skills that those students would have gained throughout a unit of work. You'll also see curriculum maps. You'll see much documentation that can help guide you through the curriculum if you have questions on how to use the on-screen resource, which functions mostly like an interactive textbook. There's lots of documentation on walking you through every part of the curriculum. So you're going to see not only a curriculum, but you're going to see supplementary materials that you can use very flexibly along with your own teaching style. So you don't necessarily need to follow MusicFirst Elementary step by step. If you're a very seasoned teacher, you can pick and choose what you like. You can create your own units, you can create your own lessons, you can download your own materials, and then you can use what you like that works well for you from MusicFirst Elementary. But I just want to highlight that we do have high quality music that's very appropriate for singing voices. As Joanna mentioned, we take a song-based approach. So every activity that they're doing is related back to a song. Singable keys and ranges for young children, many instrumental parts. We have Kodai and Orff coming very soon. You'll see more on the site here in the next few weeks related to that. But lots of scaffolding as far as if you've got a class of third graders and some are really knowledgeable in music and some aren't, the lessons are scaffolded so that you can meet many sorts of learning styles and needs. In addition to the supplementary material, we have 6 creative tools that allow you as a teacher to develop interactive lessons for your students. And these are listed here. I won't take the time to talk about each one, but these are fun games, interactive tools that you can decide the parameters on. It's not just a plug and play sort of curriculum. You can make composition activities, you can have them write music, you can have them score a film. Rhythm grids are a great decodable way to make rhythm reading easier for different ages. So if you have a trial, spend some time and play around with those creative tools because they can be used in a very flexible way. And then our supplementary content, this is separate from the curriculum, but works very nicely if you're using the curriculum or if you're just pulling in bits and pieces here and there. We have a Kodai section. We have musical productions that you can use with your students. We have entire ukulele courses that teach plucking, strumming, chords. We have music theory animations if you're trying to explain quarter rests, half notes. Any of that is all animated and in there for quick. Maybe you have a substitute and you just need something easy to do. You can use that. We also have quizzes that align with each unit of work, and those really do reflect what is supposed to be taught in that unit. So again, you might use the curriculum, you might use the supplementary content, or you might use the creative tools, but it's a very flexible sort of approach. So MusicFirst Elementary can be used in many ways by many different people. It can be used as a standalone curriculum, or as I mentioned, it can be used as a supplement to something you're already doing. We have a new part of the resource coming out soon called MusicFirst Elementary Sing that will be more choral based, so stay tuned for that. But it's also a platform for teacher planning. As I mentioned, you can create your own materials through the MusicFirst Elementary workspace. So keep that in mind as well. But it's a nice way to incorporate some technology in your classroom, especially if you struggle with using technology. It's very user-friendly, very easy to use. All right. And now we'll do a demo portion. I'm not sure if Joanna or Amy would like to talk through this part, but we'll show you a little bit of the actual resource and how to click around and use it.
So Amy, I think it'd be really nice if you show them what you've been doing with MusicFirst Elementary, if you're happy to do that.
I am happy to do that. I don't know if I shared my sound because I don't normally use Teams, so I'm going to stop sharing for just one moment to figure out if I'm sharing my sound. That's my only issue. Okay, so what I'm showing you on this is the home page. And what I love about MusicFirst Elementary, now I've been using it for about a year. And it's the side here. On one side of this screen, you have all of the curriculum. And then the other side, you have your supplementary and creative tools. So when you think about that, you really don't need to go outside this curriculum to get other things, to go to like free websites that might not work in your classroom. And I love that it's all right here, pretty much 1 to 2 clicks. Very, very favorable. So I'm just going to show you a few little highlights and then just show you also some student examples. So if I were to jump into kindergarten, that was where I started last year. In my classroom, I have a Promethean board. My kindergartners could come with their iPads. Preschool through second in my school have iPads. Third and up have Chromebooks. Normally, my preschool through second are not bringing devices into my classroom. I am a techie. I love music tech, but I don't need it all the time. I want active music making. I mean, kindergartners. If you teach kindergartners, you know what I'm talking about. They need to get up. They need to move. So what I loved about this, I'm going to jump right into one of my favorite lessons, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I click on plan, I can go in here and go into this plan that's right here and go as much as I want, step by step. But being someone who has gone through so many different methodologies and approaches, and they know what's going to work in my classroom, and that is to pick and choose. That works for me. So I don't usually go through this lesson plan, but it is nice to leave this if I have a sub. So when I go through this, I go right into the teach portion here. And when I go into the teach portion, I always tell the kids, I'm going to X and usually use the hamburger, but I want to show this side here. The understanding music, this is really fabulous. Now, this is being updated due to feedback. And what I also love about MusicFirst Elementary is when I've given feedback, I got to tell you, in 1 week, that feedback has been instituted into the program. And I'm just like, wow, that's so amazing. So there is feedback on this one. When they get over here to this portion where they're going to sing, they're going to make that a much smaller range. But this has really wonderful things because what it does is it gets the students finding the beat and moving to the beat. And it's copying animals and it's copying rhythm patterns of clapping, of echo clapping. Why is this great? Well, first, it's active music making. Second, if you're on a cart and you go into the teacher's classroom, you know you're kind of stuck in their classroom and it's them and they don't see music. By putting this on, bam, the kids realize, oh, we are now in music class. I love it. It gets them going. Of course, there's those wonderful days where they come from recess or they come from, oh yeah, the dreaded cart, or they come from PE. Man, I swear, some days my PE teacher's just like throws kindergartners in my room. I'm like, ah! And this gets them going. This focuses them and they're in. Then when we do something like listen and respond, this one I love. Do you get evaluated? Do they say, are you doing higher order thinking questions? How are you doing cross-curriculum connections? Does this admin who's never had a music lesson in their life understand anything that you're telling them? Well, that's where this comes in. I love the listen and respond because these are higher order thinking questions. So when I click play, this is kindergarten, so there's more videos. As you get older, it's more questions. So if I click play, this will start playing. And then what I do is while the students are listening and keeping the steady beat, they answer these questions, which is really great. So I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. I hope you can hear it. Can you all give me a thumbs up? No? No. All right, it's beautiful. It's going do, 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 do. I'll just sing it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. While you go through, it says, do you like the music? And then you can show the answer. It doesn't matter if you do or if you don't. It has 4 of these kind of higher order thinking questions about music. And then when it goes into the did you know, because this is in a jazz style, it goes into musical facts and then cross-curricular facts. Every lesson has this. That's amazing, number 1. And then you can learn to sing it. So you could do the whole song there's an administrator who wants to show that you're showing reading in the classroom, even as young as kindergarten. This is great because wherever you put it, it's going to highlight it. That's so good for my kids. But if I were to go over here, you can also have the score. And in this lesson, there are activities. So they can play along on a glockenspiel. Now, I don't know about you. I don't have a lot of classes that have sets of glockenspiels. Mine actually have prodigy bells. Most of my kids I know have boom whackers. So you could do this on boom whackers. But if you don't even have those classes, you're on that dreaded cart, you can use rhythm sticks. You don't have to use a pitched instrument. I always think outside the box because I never want to be conformed inside the box. So when I see this, I'm like, no, give them rhythm sticks and we'll go great. Then the improvisation is, again, something they can do where they might have this or an unpitched instrument and just improvise. Isn't it fabulous that in kindergarten they are asking them to improvise? And it's such in a friendly and child appropriate way. And then when they go into the compose, my favorite. Look at that. Don't they look like boom whacker colors? So they come and they just drag them in. And I tell the students, make a pattern. This is like math. Show me a pattern. So they do something like this. So easy to get rid of it. Just exit. So good. And then they play along. And unfortunately, you won't hear it. But when they do play along, it highlights. You see the little arrow underneath. So they know when to play. Really, really great. I love this composition tool. It's so age appropriate for kindergarten. And then, of course, the perform. So I work on two screens, so I apologize that I'm like looking this way. I'm trying to look at you, but I'm also looking this way. Another fabulous thing about this curriculum is as it gets older, it gets more mature. So when it gets into second grade, you will see that the students can actually, in those understanding musics, they can actually grab instruments. Here's some of the things that Mary was talking about. There are great baseline quizzes. Thank you, Mary, for these. SLO, SGOs, you can do pre-test, post-test using these, and they're quite adaptable because it's not like I have to do all the questions. I can just choose. And I go through them and learn them and use them. I like it. It's a great station activity if you like to do stations. That's a fabulous activity. Now, when we get into this, you actually will see more notation because it's second grade, and they actually can play instruments. Another wonderful thing is you can display solfege. If you are using a solfege-based approach, you can use a recorder. I don't usually use recorder in second grade, but you might, and you can change these around as much as you like. So great. Unfortunately, I can show you an example of this in my classroom. But here is, so there they are on the screen, and here are my second graders. These guys are energy. If I could bottle their energy, I'd make $1 million. These kids are so energetic, but this focuses them. So if you watch it, they are following this right here. So for me, that is just me, that this is what they did, G-G-A-A, and that's what they're doing there. But I do want to show you, even though you can't hear it, I am using it. I want to show you because I do feel it's so important to show to show what's going on. So they were doing that along with it. When you get into the third grade, what I love here, and those who are band directors, oh my goodness, you're going to love this. I can't even believe this. So I'm not sure. I think this one has it. This one has a very authentic recording. Yep, here we go. So let me bring this bigger. No, can't see the top. So over here, the melody and lyrics. First of all, if you do have the free trial, go listen to this in the third grade. I love this one. And just going back to like how the listen and respond now has way more mature questions, and it starts in the middle And look at all these now that goes into like the cross-curricular connections. What about there's a game song to this one. What's the style? And then it connects it onto a musical timeline. And the respond is much bigger as well. And it's all musically based as well as integration. So again, more mature, because I know you are like me and you've tried some of those curriculums where it doesn't get mature as they grow up. And then your students are going, this seems a little babyish. And that's probably the kind way of saying it. So, this is great for that. Like, it just matures with them. But you hit the melody and lyrics, and you have that child who wants to bring their flute into the classroom, and they're quite good. So you could sit and click this treble clef, and if it's not in the flute range that they're playing, I have more options for you. So this is great. Maybe they have a violin they're playing. You can print this out. Sure, download it, print it, give it to them to play along. Really connect with those students who are saying to your class, look, I want to do something else. You have that saxophone player. He's been playing for years. She's been playing for years. They've been playing for years. Grab them and bring this in and have them bring this saxophone and do that. But wait, there's more. And I sound like an infomercial, and I'm very aware of that. Look at this. All right, I saw it. Someone's playing recorder. Ooh, recorder parts. There's my 3rd grade recorder level, part 3. Wait, I have a student who isn't up to this yet. Don't worry, here's part 4. Hold on, here comes flute 3. Oh my goodness, here comes clarinet 4. Here comes alto saxophone 4. Like, look at all of these. So what did I have last year? I had a 4th grade, was one of those years out of 27 years, probably the most challenging 4th grade I ever had in my life. I always had them at 2:30 in the afternoon. Give me one of those if you're like, not the 2:30 class in the afternoon. They were done with you. They didn't want to learn music. And this one kid just disliked music class, but he played guitar. So last year at this time, I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, wait, there are right here. Guitar advanced, guitar easy chords. Ooh, a guitar part. I had them look at it and I said, what would you like to try and bring your guitar next class? Boom, eyes went like, wait, really? Yes. And so he brought it in every class until the end of the year and loved music. Just because I could give him a guitar part. Then what happened? The next kid was like, wait, I play guitar. Can I bring it? Yeah, you can bring it. Bring your guitar. Let's do this. Let's jam the end of the year together. Because at 2:30 in the afternoon, my curriculum had been adapted for all year because they just couldn't. They could not focus. And there was nothing more I was going to try to do it. So when this came, I was like, great. String parts, percussion parts, amazing. Can you use these? Does this work if you try to use it in a band setting? Yes, it does. And let me show you. In this one, these were my children doing La Bamba in the 5th grade. These are my 4th graders doing La Bamba. What you can't see, but you can catch a glimpse, are these boys right here. I have 6 4th graders who study drums privately. 6. Now, I can't grab one to play on set because I'm going to get email from 5 of the parents that I didn't choose them. So I was like, I need just hand drums, djembes, just light drumming. Gave it to their teacher, and I said, can you just take this drum part that's right here in MusicFirst Elementary and teach it to them? So when it came to the activity part where they're not singing, these kids played. Then another one that I did was this one. This was Simple Gifts found in the 5th grade curriculum. This is my band. I'm a private school. 1 harp, 2 flutes, 2 clarinets, 1 saxophone, 2 violins, 9 keyboardists, and this is my colleague playing the solo part, and then a drummer. Yeah, no one writes for that. For 20 plus years, I've been writing for that. And when I found this, I decided to use their Simple Gifts, and it was fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We took out the Prodigy bells and they played that. And then here are some compositions. And I want to show you this, just how fabulous this composition tool is. So when we are in, so I have another screen, there we go. When we are in some of these, they have composition tools built into them. So when we're in something like Music in My Soul, it has this composition right here. And instead of the squares that I showed you earlier, it now has a 3-note set or a 5-note set. So my second graders, 3-note, C, D, E, great. This is fantastic because if they're not ready for pitches, we can do rhythm on a notation or a grid. Or we can do rhythm or pitch on a note grid notation or note names. So when I go in here, I might say for my second graders, they are a note grid. So it's C, D, E. This is the board in the classroom. The kids come up. And the best part is, I always have that one kid who's like, I am going to get you into the 7th letter line above and make everyone laugh. And they come up and they're like, "Aww." And I'm like, I'm so sorry. You just have to put it down. Just drop it, my friend. Drop it. It's C, D, or E. Mrs. Burns, why? So it plays all that. And then when you hit play, like if I went on and continued, I'm just going to throw these on here. But when I hit play, it actually will play along, as you can see. Now, I'm so sorry you can't hear this, but I'm going to flip through so you can see. You can try put this to the readiness of your children.
And that's the point I was making earlier, actually, Amy, about having the song and you're squeezing all the musical stuff out of the song. So they've learned to sing that song. And then there's a section within every song where they can create their musical activities, whether it be improvising, playing instruments, composing, sometimes all three. And they can perform it like that. Sorry.
So cool. And that's just one side. If I go on to the creative tools, that's part of Music Explorer, which you find in the creative tools. Music Explorer, if you're teaching band, this is so ideal. I use this in my instrument classes, but you can use this with Recorder as well, or any sort of pitched instrument. And if you went into Recorder and you said it's GAB, I can have the students write their own song in GAB so that they can practice it, right, and get that G holes, those holes covered. And what's so cool is it gives you 10 styles. Oh my goodness. This will just make your kids' eyes pop out of their heads. And if they choose like Bollywood, they can choose slow, medium, or fast, and they can preview it. And when they go to next, this is third graders. They're ready for notation with note names. And again, no ledger line city. It can only do what I give them. So this does make my eyes pop out of my head too. And they can just make this. And then what they do, I'll say steps, no skips. Only make your melody in steps. That's why, it's third grade. I want to reinforce just one finger at a time at this point. And so they can do that, and they have it. And then they hit play, and it will play the Bollywood background for them. This also can be exported as a MIDI file. So yeah, you want to put in a notation program? Do it. There you go. So, just so cool. That's one of those creative tools. Boy, there's others. You don't have to go outside of MusicFirst Elementary and try to use free tools that might be collecting their email information or the IT will not allow you to use. Instead, you have 6 creative tools that are right here built into the program. So Quick Beats, that's your drum beat. Put that, bass drum 1 and 3, snare drum 2 and 4, hi-hat, 8th notes. Get them start making beats. And again, that can export, whereas one of the free programs I know, the website I use, you can't. It's like stuck in the website. Rhythm grids. If you decode like I do with my students, this is fabulous because we were doing decoding in something like pass the pumpkin round and round. So they could do it in these blobs, right, and decode. But you can also, I hit the wrong one. Hold on. Let me go back. You can also have them do it so that it is, I meant to hit settings, so that it's in notes or sticks. So if I'm going to do it in sticks, they can do that. Pass the pumpkin round and round. This is great because there's self-assessment here. They do that and then click play. It will play it. it will play just a nice metronome. But if they click here, it will play that back, and then they can self-assess. Did I get it right? Which one is incorrect? Which one do I need to redo and get it right? Then when they have it down, they like Fusion. My first graders love Fusion, and then they would play this, and it would be in Fusion. And it's really wonderful. Then I can get them practicing. Shuffle, randomize. Really, really cool. I love rhythm grids. I love it. I love it for that. It's a great practice tool for your instrumentalists. So cool. And Percussion Writer is great. It kind of makes little percussion listening maps. Music Notepad is your basic music notation program. I mean, very, very basic, but so great for young elementary for that reason. I mean, no bells and whistles, basic. And then UStudio. UStudio is the only digital audio workstation that is web-based and can score movies. I'll say that again. UStudio is the only web-based that can score movies. Digital audio workstation. Hold on, I'm trying to make that screen a little bit bigger, meaning that I can go into this and go instruments you can create. Audio, here are your loops. So if someone on this has been using Soundtrap or BandLab, okay, or GarageBand. GarageBand can do this, but it's not web-based. Soundtrap and BandLab cannot do this. So if you were to go into this, you can find your loops. I always start my students in instruments, so I close up these other ones. And of course, that you can just click them, bring them right in. They have, for months, I said, when you get a chance, try to loop it, and they totally did it. And they were like, it's on, we're going to do it. Amy, we looped it. And I was like, oh my goodness, you all are the best. So it loops now. I love, 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 love that. It has like things you're looking for in your basic digital audio workstation. It's there. You want to draw your volume line. It's there. You want to add effects. You want to add a little reverb. You can do that. Again, I might add some reverb there. Sure, that looks good. You want to mute. You want to solo. It's there. You want to add things, you want to add vocals, you want to add a cappella, you want to add sound effects, you want to add strings, it's all there. And then if you go into the video, yeah, you can. I like this 30-second video. I've assigned this to my 4th graders. If I double click, there it is. So now I have this video right on screen that I can actually score to. So when I hit play, the video is moving and the music's moving. And it's really, really cool. Have my 4th graders used this? Yes, they have. My 4th graders have been very successful using this. And how do they do that, Amy? What do they need? How do you get students to log into this? So incredibly nice, because I create my student groups. Once I do, UMU is what MusicFirst Elementary uses to disseminate things to them. See, these are my classes. So what does that mean? They need, like, what does IT have to do? IT has to do nothing because they're not going to use their email addresses. When I create the student groups, it will say Sarah Burns her login is P, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something like that. And her password, it tells her, is cake. All right. So on Google Classroom, I leave this musicfirstelementary.com/UMU. Brings up the MusicFirst Elementary, and it says student login. So she goes P 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, cake, boom, brings her to this class because it says that she's in 4C. And then she goes, okay, I click on the assignments. Oh, I have to do, let's see, Mrs. Burns wants me to score a movie. Okay, I'm going to click on that. All right, Mrs. Burns always tells me, all right, I don't know, allowed to do that. Okay, Mrs. Burns always tells me X and hamburger. All right, now I have more. Okay, now I'm going to score this movie. All right, she left me some things already in the movie, and I get to add more. She told me when it's kind of, the scene changes, add some things there. Okay, I'm going to do that, so I'll start it here. Okay, that's where, okay, I'll start adding. I'll go into sounds. I'll go into loops. She wants me to use loops. She wants me to use instruments. Okay, and I'll do that. And can I talk to them? Like, I was in Texas when they were doing this. Yep. I go in through the teacher portal, you know, that's what I affectionately call it. I'll go back into the teacher site. I'll go over there and I'll go find it and leave them a little comment like, hey, Mrs. Burns is here. Caught this today. This looks good. Your music is going past the video. You're going to have to cut it down. You know how to do it. Showed you last class. They'll go do that. It's really amazing. And I know I always say that I'm giving you every part of the dessert. And if you eat all this, you're going to get sick. I totally get, like, I'm showing you everything, because when you do a tech webinar, you have people who are like, I want to see this. You have people who are like, I can only use a Chromebook. You have people who are like, I just need to be able to do it on an iPad. And so I throw everything out there and you pick the dessert that you need to eat, because we all need to eat dessert. So you pick the one that's amazing for you. And you can throw away the other stuff you don't need. But it's all there.
Sorry to interrupt. That's the perfect transition. I was like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. Thank you so much. We have one question in the chat that I want to make sure we answer. And then just segueing off of what Amy was just saying, I lead our tech support team, so I like to brag about the tech support we offer. For those of you who have already started using MusicFirst Elementary, exactly as Amy was just saying, this is the everything. And you have the opportunity to get in touch with support, to schedule short check-in meetings with them, ask your questions, review specific features. Amy has made an amazing series of videos that you can review. So we have tons and tons of resources in addition to what we're going to send out after this webinar. So yeah, I love the dessert metaphor, Amy. I think that's perfect. So hopefully I am sure that what you've seen has inspired some thoughts. I particularly love hearing from Amy how it's being used in the classroom right now, and Joanna and Mary sharing how they created the software, where it comes from, the pedagogy behind it. I think to me that really seals the deal on what we have to offer here. So the question from Jenny, as we were starting the webinar, and then I'll sort of pitch it to Amy, Joanna, and Mary, whoever would like to answer, or all three of you can contribute. The summary of the question is, what is the best way to use MusicFirst for my note music lessons, where we connect music teachers, piano, violin, flute, guitar, etc., with private students? Any suggestions for effectively integrating MusicFirst Elementary, trying to look at performance videos, providing feedback, scheduling lessons? Amy mentioned that some of these specific points could be addressed with the MusicFirst classroom. We're not going to cover that so much today, but Jenny, if you do want to follow up, you can just shoot me an email and we can answer this question with the MusicFirst classroom secondary product as well. But thinking about private lesson teachers, specific instruments, connecting teachers and students, keeping track of progress and scheduling lessons. Any thoughts about how to best use MusicFirst Elementary for something like that?
Excuse me. I could, I'll hand over to Amy and Mary, but the point of those instrumental parts as well is when I used to teach, obviously this is designed from how I used to teach. So the point was that we used to utilize the instrumental teachers in the school, or the private instrumental teachers that came in and out, or we'd print the parts off for the kids to take home with them to their private lessons. So if they're learning a song in the classroom, there'll be the melody part for the whole song. There's a part there for kids in C, B flat, E flat. Yeah. Plus there's going to be a piano part soon as well, to accompany. So some kids might be able to do that, who knows. But there's also the smaller instrumental parts, the differentiated parts. There's 4 for each band instrument. When I say band, you know what I mean, orchestral or band instrument. I don't mean the band method approach, I mean for each instrument. So you could print those off and give them to the children to learn with their private teachers, or if those teachers are visiting the school. That's how I used to do it. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, very similar. I would use this as supplementary. I wouldn't use this because I would use a method in my private lessons, but I would definitely use this as supplementary, especially because I have students in my class, like in first grade, who take beginner piano with me. When they hear a song in my music room, they want to learn to play it on the piano. So I love that, again, those like that, I can grab that treble clef melody and it's like, let's try this. Let's find the fingering. Let's do this. And then they play along with the recording is really, really great. And that can definitely be done with MusicFirst Elementary. I agree with Jay. That question to me goes more to MusicFirst because you have practice first in it, which I think is phenomenal. One of the best tools out there for private lessons is practice first. And I love, and especially the addition that came this week, Jay, in practice first. The assessment tool was amazing. Yeah.
And we are having some, we will, because this is an organic product. I know there's a lot there already, but as Amy said, we do like to respond to teachers' needs. We really want to do that. And that's why I've been really liking to get involved from the ground, because we spoke to a teacher, was it today or yesterday? Well, for me, it was before yesterday, probably, because now I'm in Friday. And we spoke to a teacher who was fabulous, and just a teacher in an elementary school in Virginia, and she had questions. She'd emailed one of the sales team, and I was like, let's speak to her, Amy and Mary, because we need that feedback. Let's get in there and find out exactly what people want. So it's organic. And when I say that, we have got lots more we can add to it anyway, but we will build from what you want to. We do have some instrumental courses, beginner instrumental courses as well, coming soon. I'll be quiet, Jay.
Yes, I would just reiterate, this is definitely a general music curriculum with the option to include instrumental parts in a variety of ways. So, if you're not a general music teacher, it might not be the best fit, and maybe MusicFirst practice would be better for you. But we do have many, many instrumental options along with this curriculum.
And I dropped it in the chat a couple times because I'm obsessed with Music Explorer. So I like to talk about it. But the play along tracks, like I just said in the chat, 10 different genres with the 3 tempos per. I was a very undisciplined practicer, and I still am. And so having like a different audio experience and something different to like hear as I'm playing the same music over and over again. Even when I was like a 5th grade clarinet player, I was like, I am making myself insane by playing hot cross buns over and over again. So those different listening options for engagement, to me, I think really just blow my mind. I really think they're the best.
Jay, the hot cross buns in the supplementary tab, which we didn't even touch, has these boomwhacker play-alongs and these recorder play-alongs. And so you're right, my 3rd graders did not want to play hot cross buns again. And they had a version in there that is so good. So when I hit play, they all went, that's from Roblox. And I was like, oh, now you know it's the coolest hot cross buns. Now play. And
Yes.
that's one of I do have that example. They loved that. They were always, I'm like, I don't even know if that's from Roblox, but let's go with that. Sure.
Yeah, let's just, I love it. So if there are any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat here. We can always follow up with people. But again, Joanna, it's now almost 1 a.m. Everyone has been on for an hour. Thank you all so much for your diligence and attendance. I can't think of the last webinar. We had people like show up on time and stay all the way through, which maybe I shouldn't brag about, but I'm so excited to see all your beautiful faces on a Thursday evening. I hope you have an incredible weekend when it comes. And thank you to my colleagues, Rachel and Tori, who are here. Thank you, Amy, Joanna, and Mary, for presenting. And thank you all for attending and for being here. This is great. We'll be sending out the recording, and any additional resources may take a week or so. As Amy mentioned, she'd love to share what she has once we do some quick editing. I have to cut the first 15 minutes out of this video. That's just me staring at my ceiling and then us doing tech support for each other. So we'll have everything in your hands in the next week or so. Like I said, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for being here. And if you have any questions or need anything, please get in touch with me directly, and I can get you in the hands of the right person. Thank you again so much. It means the world for you all to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.